The 2014 Porsche Panamera marks the second generation for the breed. After having been released in 2009, it quickly became one of the brand's most popular models. And for this second generation, you can see the Germans wanted to give it a little bit more front-end panache, and I think they've done a brilliant job. They've widened the front air intakes down here just a bit. They've made the headlights a little less pointy. They've also made the hood power dome a little bit more bulbous. But the looks are not the only thing that's changed for 2014. Porsche says every single one of the 9 Panamera models has more fuel efficiency and more performance, including this one here, the 4.8-liter twin-turbocharged V8 that produces 520 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. But how much more power is that than last year? This much more power. This is the speeding ticket that I got in this Panamera Turbo. And so you can see clearly that Porsche has done a bang-up job increasing power for the second generation. While you might not be able to tell by looking at it, the Porsche Panamera goes against cars like the Mercedes S-Class, the BMW 7 Series, and the Audi A8. But while those three are absolute luxury limos, the Porsche lives in another world. It lives in 2 other worlds, in fact. It is both a car that you can drive and be driven in. As luxurious as the back is, I would prefer the driver's seat. Up here, the cabin is sort of cocooning the driver with a lot of really great quick access buttons along the center console. Unlike BMW's iDrive, which takes 1,000 different screens to get to any sort of vehicle settings, everything is done with the push of a button, like your Sport Plus. That livens up the exhaust, the throttle, the steering, all the good things. Now that steering is a little heavy, I'll tell you that. It is not as twitchy and doesn't give as much feedback as we Americans like. Remember, the Germans don't like twitchy steering. They want it to be heavy and numb, sort of like their women. They want it to be quiet, but they want it to do what we tell it to and just get the job done. In that way, it's perfect.
Perhaps my favorite feature of the Panamera is the launch control. Again, unlike any other car, it's simple. Stomp on the brake, stomp on the gas, and then let the brake go. It's so intoxicating that we had to test it many, many times.
The second generation Panamera offers 9 different models. There are 10 actually globally. Here in the US, we don't get the diesel yet, but that's another discussion. So across the lineup, you get anywhere from plug-in hybrid efficiency to face rearranging turbo power. And what will that cost you? Well, you can start off at the base Panamera for around $80,000, which isn't too bad. This turbo that we're driving, for instance, however, is $195,000, which is absolutely staggering. I often worry that German cars are more expensive than they're worth. The Panamera, however, isn't. I think it's worth every penny.